put out a feeler asking for topics people would like me to make videos on, and there were a bunch of them worded different ways, but regarding USPSA classifications, what thing holds people back from specific classifications and kind of the difference between the skill levels. So I'll give you my 2 cents on it. Let's see. The question is your experience in crossing the hurdle from B to A and then M to GM. What keeps people in B class, basically, are the kind of the sum of the questions. I think getting to B class, most people can do just by being some amount of practicing. You can be an over aimer or an under aimer, and most people can get to B class with a little bit of practice. B class is where a lot of people go to hang out for an extended period. Like I mentioned, there's going to be kind of two camps. If you had to divide them, it'll be people that are really fast but are pretty loose on points, so a lot of points down, Charlies, deltas, and there'll be people that are slow but get all the alphas, the maximum amount of points. The problem is sitting on the sights too long and over aiming opposed to breaking the shot. Without exception, whichever camp people find themselves in, they always think they'd be in the other one would be better to start out at. They don't like the camp they're in, because if I was fast, I could just be accurate. And if I was accurate, man, if I could just be faster. So I think that's kind of amusing. But whichever one of those two camps you're in, you're going to have to work on breaking that. If you're an over aimer, slower, we kind of call them turtles, then you're going to have to work on basically less being more, meaning just reacting to seeing the color of your sight, not bouncing your vision back and forth between the color of your sight and the target, or waiting for your dot to be stopped, look like a dot and not moving. Instead, just seeing the color, starting to shoot, maybe you're even off balance, feet are moving a little bit or a foot's off the ground, and when the sight gets to where you want it to be, you fire the shot. So that's important to save you a lot of time. Then for the other side of that, the people, I'll say, lack discipline. Then it's important to pick spots on the targets and be disciplined. So as opposed to just looking over the top of your gun or the sight being a blur, you need to react to the color of your sight. Wait until you see the color of your sight on the target. That's a pretty, I think, fair statement for either of those camps in B class. Most people are going to be one or the other, to either be disciplined, make a plan, stick to the plan, and wait for your sight to be there, or you're aiming too long when you just see the color of your sight, even if you're a little bit off balance, where it's not completely perfect, stopped and stable, gotta send it. From there, getting out of B to A class, either camp, you're gonna have to pick up the speed and go faster. And from B class to GM, it's just a sliding scale of you have to be faster and more accurate. There's a lot of people that get to A class that are very, very fast, but lack some of the consistency, because you're going to have the speed. And then from, A class and up, again, it's very generalities, but you're just going to keep getting faster and more accurate as you get better. Normally, anybody in M class can do all the stuff, so they can make all the times. Or if you let's say there's a GM goal for a drill, whether it's hit factor, points divided by time, or a specific, whatever the metric is, or a time you need to get under, most people in M class can make that. The problem is being able to do it on demand with one try. It could be the consistency part that's lacking, and real talk, with the way the classifier system is in USPSA, sometimes you need to have the right classifiers, because some of them, so the way the classifier system works, the last two numbers is the year it came out. So for example, it could be one such as El Prez, which came out, I think it's a 99 series. So it's from 1999. So you've got 25 years of people shooting it. And that's going to keep driving up the high score. There's some kind of magic to it in how they develop that. But anyway, classifiers that have been out for a while are going to have a higher hit factor because of how many people that have shot them. Otherwise, sometimes the brand new classifiers are set low, so people like getting a higher score on them because they haven't been driven up yet. Maybe you are very good. Well, I'll project. I'm good at close, fast shooting, So the classifiers like Can You Count, where you draw and shoot 5 on a target, mag change 5 more, second string draw 5, load 5. That one's one that I could get 100% on because I like the close, fast stuff. Pepper poppers, bang and clang. Some of those El Prez, those would be the ones I would want to see if I was trying to get a higher classification, because the gun handling and the close shooting was pretty good for me. But some of the farther ones, the one-handed shooting or the partial targets, and some of those, maybe those are a lot tougher. Maybe the classification or the hit factor is so high it's a little bit of luck. There's a variety of things that could happen, so I can't give you like a situation one size fits all. But for the most part, I think the biggest group of people I encounter are the people that are stuck in B class, C or B class, and want to get better. So the first two examples I gave, either being more disciplined with making sure you see the sights, or not over aiming, just seeing the sight and letting it go, is the majority of people I interact with. Beyond that, getting from A, M, GM, it could be more nuanced stuff, such as the discipline, fighting tension. Sometimes people, when they draw or they want to transition the gun fast, their shoulders come up, they get very tense, which makes it tougher to be precise when you're moving the gun. Could be discipline, it could not. It could be a vision issue where you're not finding the center of the targets. Instead, you're just squirting bullets at brown. So I don't have a one-size-fits-all. There's a bunch of things. For like my personal making GM, getting out of B class, when I was in B class, I was just a very deliberate shooter. So to get out of that, I just went really fast. So then I almost jumped from B to M class over like a winter of practice. I think the classifier, I won't get it exactly right, but it was in May, something like that. And I'd been dry firing all winter and live firing the first couple months once things had kind of thawed out. And I had a good index and very fast speed, just lacking some of the control. But they do, my club anyway, a classifier match once a year where it'd be 6 classifiers all in one match. So that'd be the place. If you're going to tune up, that's the day to do it, and to try to earn a higher classification anyway. And so I was like mid B class or something, and ended up, it was like a half or 1% away from earning M class. So I was only in A class for a very little bit. Then I was in M class, and then in M class for a couple years. So for me, it was just going faster. There was some close, fast, national shooting classifiers, which almost got me to M. After that, it was like 1 or 2 classifiers, something like that. Then I jumped into M class. And then from there, so in there, I won't have the number, but a couple of years. And then for being M to GM was the right classifiers, building consistency, just working on all the skills. And for me, it was a bit of over trying. So if the classifier, if you had to get 100% to be a GM score, I wanted to have 120%. So I would just, for a while, just once the gun feels like it's at eye level, start cracking, pull the trigger as fast as I can, just make the time and hope the hits are there, which wasn't really a very productive thing. But it came to a bit of a realization that I have to just trust my best is going to be good enough, just do the things. And people treat classifiers like there's something way different than the rest of the match. And the reality is, if you shoot competitively, you want to have a good match, not just a good stage. So if it's a 6-stage or 7-stage match, one stage of it's a classifier, going 0 or hero on the classifier is not going to do well for your overall match score that day. But for me anyway, it kind of just, these awareness, these little epiphanies came with bad experiences or lessons learned the hard way, and then just kind of gaining maturity, I suppose. Well, I'm not really that mature, but in that way, maybe I did. So just experience over time. So hopefully that gives you some things to think about and is helpful. It's tough to answer that question with a specific, this is you, just because people have different tendencies and habits, but at least somewhere to start. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. Like, subscribe, share, I guess. And thanks for watching.